Well, joining me now, Shobhaa De. Thank you very much, Shobhaa, for joining me this evening. Now, it'll be close to a month after which Aryan Khan comes out. It's been a long, grueling case. What is your reaction to the process in this case?
Well, first of all, the reaction is emotional, and I'm hugely relieved, as I'm sure are a lot of people across India and elsewhere, because the whole thing was so complex, so complicated, that for the average person following the case, it wasn't entirely possible to go into the technicalities of or the legalities. It just seemed on the face of it something quite absurd. So the fact that he will be inside for 2 more nights, well then, if that is the process, that is the process, and God be with everybody who's part of the process. But the process itself is something that is extremely bewildering, as Mukul has clarified over and over again and very emphatically as to why he was in for 25 days to start with. The good thing is that he'll be back home for Diwali and in time to celebrate his father's birthday, which is on the 2nd of November. So from the point of view of the family, it is, I'm sure, a huge, huge relief. But this isn't just about Aryan Khan. It isn't just about a young man who's there for reasons that don't seem completely transparent or logical to the outside world. I'm sure there is a very convincing legal argument as to why they've taken this long, close to a month, to keep someone in on charges that seem at best hooked up and flimsy.
Shobhaa, do you believe that Bollywood was being targeted?
Well, in the popular imagination, it seems like a targeted campaign. I don't know whether it's so widespread that all of Bollywood is involved. All I know is all of Bollywood till this point was completely silent and quiet, and there was very little public support from Shah Rukh Khan's colleagues. And I'm very disappointed, because they should have been the first ones to stand with a colleague whose son is going through what Aryan Khan went through. But the conspiracy theory, well, going back to Riya Chakrabarti and around the same time, it was a similar kind of a theory that was doing the rounds, that the government is sending out a strong message to Bollywood to say, behave, pay ball, or else. But that cannot be incontrovertibly proved. It's just conjecture, and it's extremely immature and irresponsible to charge any government or any political party with that, when it's really almost next to impossible to establish such a conspiracy in the first place.
A final question, Shobhaa. The spectacle around the case itself, the NCP, a political party, versus the NCB, the Narcotics Control Bureau, some chap called Gosavi, a private detective, somebody close to the BJP, the private detective's bodyguard also emerges, photos and emerge from within the Narcotics Control Bureau office, WhatsApp chats are leaked to the media. Is this, this case is strange, isn't it?
The whole thing sounds like a really C-grade Bollywood scripted film, and the more details that emerge, the worse they're making themselves sound. And one can pick holes with almost everything that is in the public domain at the moment, including the witness who's surfaced out of nowhere, that the man Gosavi was in the first place allowed into that area and allowed to manhandle these young fellows, and given the kind of authority and access that is certainly not by any standards acceptable or conventional. That Sameer Wankere himself seems to be in a lot of hot water. One doesn't know what to believe. The more his wife speaks, the worse she's making it all sound. The certificates that are now being bounced around, produced, is he or isn't he? It's not about whether he is a Muslim, was a Muslim, will continue to be a Muslim. It's about falsification of certificates. That's a very serious charge if it can be proved. So the case is ugly. It's taken a horrible turn, and I hope this is actually a good moment for the drug agencies and the NCB and all the other government agencies to take a serious look at procedures.
Yeah.
This is so arbitrary. You can't do this. I mean, Wankhede was known as a customs officer who often harassed movie stars. I mean, this is something that is there on record. So whether he has some kind of an angle against Bollywood, I don't know, and I'm not in a position to say. But certainly unorthodox means have been used, and we should be focusing on those unorthodox means and who legitimizes this. These are not, it's not a constitutional way or a legal way of going about any kind of an investigation. So whether it's Aryan Khan or anybody else, let's clean up this process first, and let's be very clear about what the rules say.
Sure.
You cannot do this, and that should be made apparent, and the people who have indulged in it should be made answerable.
All right, Shobhaa, thank you very much for joining us with those views on this Aryan Khan case. He is out of jail on bail right now, along with two others. A lot of people wondering why that couldn't have happened earlier on.